there, and welcome to another episode of Regular Beer Reviews, where regular doesn't refer to the beers being reviewed, but to the reviewer myself. I'm Jesse, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing a beer that I've had once before, had it about 7-8 months ago. This is Gladiator Essedarius. It's a bourbon barrel-aged Roman Imperial Ale. This beer, from what I remember, is pretty damn amazing. It's the only barley wine I think I've ever had. But yeah, let's get into the numbers on this. Beer Advocate gives it an 87, which is very good, with like, I think 10 ratings. Rate Beer gives it a 78 overall, with a 35 for the style. The bros have not had this beer. The ABV is 11.3%. The style is a barley wine, an American barley wine. And the availability is limited. It says it was brewed once on Rate Beer. I don't know, though, because again, I had it like 7-8 months ago. And I've seen it around a few places since then, and then I saw it today, and I was like, shit, I'm going to pick that up again. I remember that as being really good. I'm not sure what the IBUs are on it, though, but anyway, Gladiator Essedarius, which has pretty cool, it's got pretty cool artwork on the front there. This is from the Shipyard Brewing Company out of Portland, Maine. I absolutely love Shipyard. Had a ton of their beers, like a ton. So I'm excited to try this. So yeah, let's, I'm going to read what it says on the back here, I almost forgot. Gladiator Essedarius Bourbon Imperial Roman Style Ale is unlike any competitor in the Colosseum of craft beers. It thunders into the arena like a charioteer at top speed, with notes of raisin, cherry, and fig aromas leading, followed by roasted barley, vanilla, and bourbon barrel-laced malt coating your tongue. The smoky finish is dry, lingering, and complex, a barley wine style ale of epic proportions. So, yeah, as I remember this being, it's really, really fucking good. If I can get the cork off of it here, I always have trouble with these. Oh, this one's actually coming off pretty easy. There we go. Good bit of smoke. Nice bit of smoke building up there. Poured here. Oh yeah. Now from what I remember, this is not, I know I usually gulp beers in my reviews. This is not a beer you gulp. Just isn't. This is a sipping beer. Let's I'll get it back in there later. Let's see. Let's get an appearance on this. It is a very, very dark brown, very dark mahogany brown, opaque. Kind of see some light through it. Around the edges, I get some ruby red tints. It had maybe, well, it didn't really have a head at all, but I'd say that's, it's like a frothy ring. Not really seeing the slightest little bit of carbonation coming up the sides, slightest little bit, but. Anyway, let's go on ahead and get a nose on this. Alright, first of all, I smell bourbon. Got a little bit of bourbon. And some more bourbon. No, it's very much like bourbon. Try to get past that. Smell a little bit of dark roasty malt. Chocolate, a little bit of coffee. Just a hint though. There's not a lot of roasty malt that I can pick up past the smell of the bourbon. It's 11.3%. I'm not sure if it's so much. It's 11.3%, yeah, so you expect to smell a little booziness, but most of it is just because it's aged in those bourbon barrels, and it really picks up the smell of the bourbon. So it really, really has that smell. But I'm smelling a little bit of the roasty, darker malts. Maybe a hint of sweetness at the end from dark fruits, like raisins and figs. That's really all I'm able to pick up on the smell. I mean, it is hard to get past that alcohol smell, so go ahead and jump into this one. Bourbon's not quite as prevalent on the flavor. Up front, it's mostly just sweet. You get those dark roasty malts, you get the coffee, you get the chocolate. You definitely get that dark fruit. Not really any hops, so to speak of. Well, at the end, there's a little bit of a floor on this that I might contribute to hops. Well, I say at the end, kind of mid to end, before that kind of zing of the alcohol. Because ultimately, I mean, this really does taste a lot like bourbon. There's an oakiness there. There's a little bit of kind of a smokiness. There's really oaky woodiness, and you know, like bourbon. And then at the very end, you get that kind of that zing that alcohol leaves in your mouth, like when you take a shot or something. And that's ultimately what it leaves in your mouth. Man, 11.3%. You can taste the alcohol. You can really feel the alcohol. This is a fucking awesome beer, though, man. There's a lot of flavor going on in here. It's very rich. It's very deep. It actually has a pretty thick mouthfeel for 11.3%. It's not nearly as thin as you think it would be. That bourbon is not. I'm not a huge fan of bourbon. When I don't drink a lot, but when I do drink liquor, I prefer Scotch. But this is pretty damn good. Again, this is, I know I always gulp my beers. This is not a gulping beer. I probably, if I tried to gulp this, I'd probably puke. It's delicious beer. It tastes good, but that alcohol is very prevalent, and it's hard to, I mean, you know, I've seen people that can chug liquor and can, without a doubt, chug this, and I couldn't do it. But again, it tastes very, very nice. This is a great after dinner beer. Not a dessert beer. Dessert beer you have with dessert or for dessert. This is like an after dinner beer. This is like if you want to have a beer like after you've already had dessert. After dinner, you're smoking a cigar, you're smoking a cigarette, something like that. You just want something to top off that nice meal that you can sip and really enjoy. This is it. This is, I mean, it's a barley wine. This is a really, really good beer, though. I mean, this is absolutely excellent. Again, it's extremely flavorful. And that bourbon, I'm not crazy about bourbon myself, but I do love the flavor, not just of the bourbon, but of that oakiness. The little bit of oakiness. It's oaky, it's a little smoky. That flavor that gets left from aging it in the barrels. And it's not just bourbon, I mean, I hate gin, and I've had some beers that are like aged in gin barrels, and they're really good. They have that little hint of gin, but it's just something about aging them in those wooden barrels that makes it really flavorful. And personally, I fucking love this beer. This is a really, really, really good beer. I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10. This is going to get a 10 out of 10 from me. Gladiator Essedarius Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout. This is a really, really, really good beer. It's definitely different. Again, I think this is the only barley wine I've ever had, so when I drink it, I can't really compare it to other barley wines that I've had, because this is the only one. But it's just so flavorful. And it's just so flavorful and so different, and it's very, very tasty. I'm not crazy about bourbon, but it's okay. I do like it. I prefer Scotch, and I mean, beers that I've had that are aged in Scotch are really, really fucking good. But that doesn't mean this isn't still amazing. I mean, this is getting a 10 out of 10 for me. That's an A+. This is a really, really, really good beer. I really, really enjoy this beer. I mean, again, 11.3%. One bottle is all you're going to need. If you're drinking more than one bottle of this, then you're going to get wasted. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Especially since you can't chug. You're just going to be sipping it. So, I mean, if you could chug like a bottle of this, you're going to be out for the count. I mean, 11.3%. This is a big, big, big beer. Yeah, so anyway, thanks for watching. Once again, though, 10 out of 10 for Gladiator Essedarius. If you see it, pick it up. It's great. It's from the Shipyard Brewing Company. Not super sessionable, but certainly drinkable. It's a great after-dinner beer. So, thank you for watching, and keep watching again in the future for more reviews. Prost.